Hey, welcome to Quad Pod,
Quad Pod.
Welcome to Quad Pod.
Welcome to Quad Pod.
where we talk about, well, video games and maybe even some other stuff.
Some cool stuff, etc.
Today we're talking about our top 5 favorite game systems. What you two talking about? Anyway,
What you talking about?
we'll start with you, Blake. What is your top 5 favorite
Top 5.
video game systems?
Alright, for number 1, I have N64. 2 is the PlayStation 2. 3 is Sega Genesis. 4 is Xbox. And 5 is Super Nintendo.
Now, Corey.
I'd have to say for me, I got number 1 as being PlayStation, 2 being Nintendo, 3 GameCube, 4 the classic Game Boy, and 5 the Sega Genesis. Austin?
Number 1 is N64. Number 2 is the original Xbox. 3 is the PS2. 4 is the GameCube. And 5 is the Nintendo Wii.
And my top 5 video game systems.
Chris?
1 is the NES. Chris? Anyway, 1 is the NES, the original Nintendo. 2 is the N64. 3 is the PS2. 4 is the GameCube.
Oh, yeah.
And 5 is the Super NES. All right, Blake, why would you say the N64 is the best system?
I think it's the best because, well, first of all, there's a lot of nostalgia that's wrapped up in it, obviously.
For all of us.
But also, I think that it was way ahead of its time. It was like trend-setting, like nothing had ever been done quite like what they did.
Revolutionary.
Right, and they created what possibly could be some of the greatest games ever made.
Yeah, I would say so. And Corey, what would you say? What's your claim on your top?
On my top one on PlayStation, I'd have to say PlayStation is what revolutionized the thought of RPGs and of action-based games. They revamped everything and made it into this whole new realm of gaming that the world had never seen, I feel.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. And Austin, what's your...
Same with Blake over there. My N64. Because, I mean, most of the games today, you wouldn't have that if it wasn't for the N64. And they made some of the best games like Conkers or Super Mario 64, Jet Force Gemini, anything like that.
I know you're not leaving Ocarina of Time over there.
Dude.
I'm on a Zelda guy. No offense. Love to watch it, but to play it, I can't handle it.
Okay.
It's too,
Chris?
it's too
All right.
scary.
Chris?
Well, I picked the NES because I feel like most hardcore gamers, today have played the NES. Everybody has a lot of memories. Most people have played the Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, old Contra, old classic Contra, old classic Zelda. Even people who aren't exactly Nintendo fans today. Right. Anybody got anything else to add on this topic?
I would say it would either have to be between the original Nintendo and the Nintendo 64.
Well, the N64 has got to be in the top spot, right? Because it was
3 people.
chosen by 3 people out of 4, right? So does that make top spot, or does that just make the top 5?
I think that makes it a good top spot amongst
Okay.
us.
Top spot, Nintendo 64.
And 64 wins.
And 64 wins. Let's
Oh,
go on to number 2.
Number 2.
Number 2. Well, I think PlayStation 2 was picked by 3 of us.
All of us.
Yeah.
Well, Corey said original PlayStation.
I said original
So yeah,
PlayStation.
PS2 gets number 2.
PlayStation
Ain't that
2 is
something?
good.
PS2
Let's say
comes
PlayStation
in
2.
Second place.
Second place, PS2.
PS2 is getting out the red shell on N64.
Come on, guys.
It's a video game reference. Come on. Somebody has to get it.
I would have to say number 3 would have to be the Game Boy. It has to be the Game Boy. You think about how it revolutionized every single handheld game. It revolutionized the thought of games on your phone, the games on your tablet. Everything came from the Game Boy. at that point. Whenever you have a handheld, whenever you were sitting there on the bus, playing the Game Boy on your way to school, sitting at church, playing the Game Boy while the pastor's up talking.
Been there.
I mean, it revolutionized all of that. Now you see kids just sitting there playing games on their phone.
Or tablet.
You say, hey, why don't you pick up a Game Boy? They're like, what's a Game Boy?
I like to point out though that I don't think it deserves top 3.
I mean, come on.
Okay, but I don't think it deserves top 3 because
You were the only one who picked it.
you're the only. Well, yeah, but even beyond that, like, yeah, of course, I don't disagree. It should be. It's revolutionary. No doubt about that. But I don't think it has everything that at least the Nintendo or Super Nintendo has. That should be in the top 3, because I mean that started pretty much everything. That was before the Game Boy even. So, you know what I mean?
Okay, what about number 4?
Well, we didn't decide on what
How about-
3 is.
How about we say Game Boy is number 4?
And
So
3
what's
should,
number 3?
should be GameCube because it was all 3 of us.
I would say GameCube.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
going GameCube.
GameCube.
GameCube is number 3.
Number 3.
3 or 3? Yeah, 3.
Four.
Number 4?
Number
Okay,
4 was the.
I can get behind 4, sure.
Number 4, Game Boy.
Now the toughest spot, 5.
Who deserves the number 5 spot?
Probably,
I would say Sega Genesis.
We both picked Sega Genesis, and it's hard for me to imagine a top 5 list without the Sega Genesis.
but it's also kind of hard to not have the Xbox on that list.
But you got to think about it. Without
Xbox
Sega Genesis,
was on my
Xbox
list
would
as
not
well.
be there. The Xbox would not be around if Sega Genesis had not come around.
Well, yeah, but you can have music on your Xbox, so...
Yeah, but that doesn't like mean that it's a better system.
Doesn't
Like, that was a
I
very cool
disagree.
feature. Very cool feature.
Cool feature.
But
that
they
you can
had
play while
Sonic for one, and some of
Yes.
like the greatest side scrollers.
Yes.
It was
Also,
also.
Sonic was great.
I'm saying your
It
own
was.
custom one from your
Old
CD.
Sonic was
Yeah,
great.
I know that is cool. It's a cool feature. But the Sega Genesis also
Sonic
had
was
like
great.
great platformer, side scroller, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They even put out the Sonic 3D that was on the original Sega Genesis, right? So that would be one of the more like that has to be one of the first 3D games, correct?
But anyway, I guess number 5 is the Sega Genesis.
Boo, but I guess.
All right, thank
Hey,
you.
it's
Thank
been
you.
I voted.
I just want to say thanks everybody for watching. Just leave any of your top 5 favorite video game systems in the comments, and please subscribe to
Quad Pod.
Gaming.
Gaming.
QuadPodGaming at gmail.com. Thanks for watching.
And also, let's go back over this top 5 list really quick. Number 1, we picked Nintendo 64. Number 2, PlayStation 2. 3, GameCube. 4, Game Boy. And 5, Sega Genesis. Thanks and have a good night.